Hi, this is Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com, here to comment on the upcoming fight later this month between elite champion Mikkel Kessler and Andre Ward in the super middleweight tournament on Showtime here in the United States. Now, I understand that in Europe, Mikkel Kessler is very highly regarded. I very highly regard Mikkel Kessler. I know he has been a dominant champion. I believe his fight against Joe Calzaghe was one of the sport's finest moments in the last quarter century. A elite level match between two undefeated champions. That was a great match. Now, all of that said, and I know I'm going to have some people across the pond scratching their heads. But all of that said, my advice to gamblers on this month's fight between Mikkel Kessler and Andre Ward is to watch the fight, is to enjoy the fight. It's going to be boxing at its best, but not to bet on the fight because this fight is too close to call. Boxing comes down to styles. And Andre Ward is an open secret in boxing. Some young fighters simply master the craft quicker than others. Andre Ward can fight many different styles. He can fight right-handed, he can fight left-handed, and he can fight you at distance. He can also fight you in close. I know this is going to sound like heresy, but he is a much more versatile fighter than Mikkel Kessler. And he gets this fight in his backyard in the Bay Area. If you don't know about Mikkel Kessler right now, and it's very early November in 2009, you're going to find out about him by the end of this month when this fight takes place. He is an elite fighter. I would encourage everyone here to watch his masterpiece against Edison Miranda. Now, Miranda is a very intriguing individual. This is the same Edison Miranda who lost to Kelly Pavlik. I believe that Pavlik victory made Kelly Pavlik. And Miranda, in my opinion, beat Arthur Abraham the first time they fought. He broke Abraham's jaw in two places and in what can only be described as the absolute worst refereeing I have seen in the last 20 years. And keep in mind, it takes a lot to be a worse referee than the referee in the Sergio Martinez Kermit Cintron fight. In the worst refereeing, Arthur Abraham was practically given that first fight. Edison Miranda handily beat Alan Green, who's being rumored to be Jermaine Taylor's replacement in the super middleweight championship series. Edison Miranda recently knocked out Sierra in one round, and this was a guy who was vying for the Mexican super middleweight crown. Edison Miranda was completely beaten up by Andre Ward. The fight is fascinating because one round Andre Ward decided to fight left-handed. Another round Andre Ward decided to fight from distance. Another round Andre Ward came in and literally manhandled Edison Miranda up close. And it was fascinating because as I was watching the fight, I realized that this was a superior fighter who wasn't fighting Edison Miranda, he was fighting boredom. Now, I believe the Dan Goosen group, this is the same promotional group that promotes Paul Williams, the Punisher Paul Williams. I believe they understand that they are sitting on dynamite. Mikkel Kessler obviously is the biggest name in this super middleweight tournament, and they were able to get Mikkel Kessler for Andre Ward's first fight. Don't be fooled by Andre Ward's age. I understand he is the youngest guy in this tournament. I'm just here to tell people that my prediction on this fight is that it could go either way, and that a smart gambler has to know, just like a smart drinker, a smart gambler has to know when to say when. I do believe Mikkel Kessler beats most of the guys in this tournament handily. I do believe Mikkel Kessler will ultimately take care of Carl Froch, assuming Kessler doesn't get stopped in this fight. But what I'm telling you is that when you're fighting a chameleon, someone who can fight many styles, not just Andre Durrell's style, but Andre Durrell's style as well as Vito Altafermo's style. When you're dealing with someone who is kind of like Salvador Sanchez in that he can flow, he can bang with the bangers, he can box with the boxers, that's a fight that you simply don't want to have your money invested in. Should Andre Ward pull off the upset, quite frankly, there would be little stopping him from going all the way in the tournament. I believe this is one of the tournament's gem fights. I believe the boxing public does not know about Andre Ward. Andre Ward is an Olympic gold medalist. Forget his limited professional record. He has a excellent pedigree, spectacular amateur record, and he's a guy, when you see him fight, he's a guy who can do many things in the ring. The first time I saw Andre Ward fight, I was watching the fight and I thought, this is a pretty slick lefty. It took me a couple of rounds to realize that he was actually a right-handed guy who could just adapt to that style. I believe to be as conversant in the sports different genres as this guy is, you really have to be a student of the game. I believe Andre Ward at 25 is one of the smartest men in boxing. So he has described Mikkel Kessler's boxing style as one-dimensional, an excellent jab with excellent combinations behind it. Um, what I want people to think about is the Joe Calzaghe fight, and I believe it's a very important point. We saw Joe Calzaghe coming toward Mikkel Kessler the entire fight. Joe Calzaghe is not someone who stays away and plays a cat and mouse game. What would have happened in the Joe Calzaghe fight had Calzaghe, instead of applying pressure, coming forward and throwing a lot of punches, what would have happened if Calzaghe would have taken a step back instead for some of the rounds? If Calzaghe would have altered the pace a bit for some of the rounds? What would have happened if Joe Calzaghe treated Mikkel Kessler's jab like Fast Eddie Chambers treated Alexander Dmitrenko's jab in their fight from last July? If Calzaghe would have backed away and not allowed Mikkel Kessler to get a rhythm going off of his jab. Because I believe that's the kind of cat and mouse game that Andre Ward is going to try to throw at Mikkel Kessler. And I'm not sure, quite frankly, if Mikkel Kessler has the answers for that kind of flexibility. So, again, I'm not predicting a winner. All I'm saying, since I know Mikkel Kessler is an overwhelming favorite in this fight, I'm just using this video to explain why I'm going to sit on the sidelines on this fight. And for the boxing purists out there who doesn't know Andre Ward, or who may not even know Mikkel Kessler, all I'm saying is, of all the fights that have taken place so far in Showtime's super middleweight series, this is the fight to see. We know that an aggressive fighter who comes toward Mikkel Kessler ends up being treated like Libredo Andrade got treated by Mikkel Kessler in a brilliant fight. Kessler can handle that. Well, what happens when Kessler is up against not a fighter, but a boxing artist? We're going to find out later this month. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments for us here. Call a winner here. Be bolder than I am. And, of course, visit us at gamblersadvisory.com. Good luck.